So to follow on from my canal video, I've decided to make videos about each town we've been through, as now we've turned the boat around, so we'll be going through all of them again. So here is the first town, Stoke Bruerne, but beforehand, let's just enjoy the wondrous views from the canal trip up there from Yardley.
Lack of space. I suppose it comes down to where we are in a few months, doesn't it? I'm fully aware of that. Would you switch on the inverter, please?
These big sluices were used quite a lot whilst we were up in southern Northamptonshire, as it rained a lot, so much the river overflowed. And here we are arriving at Stoke Bruerne bottom lock, where we could go no further. This is because whilst we were here, they had just started replacing the lock gates, so they had closed and drained the canal north of this lock. Here was a lock further up, and it just looks so weird. You can see the mud on the bottom. You got to see some of the work close up. Here they were lifting this new gate into place. These ones would have been manufactured near Wolverhampton and made of oak, grown right here in Britain. This is one of the old gates, which will now be about 25 years old, so pretty life expired. And this is the new gate that's taken its place. Along with the rain we had whilst up here, for a few days it went below 0 too. Here is the dusk sun shimmering on a frozen canal. And in some areas, the ice got pretty thick, but it was unfortunately never thick enough to walk or skate over. In Stoke Bruerne, you'll notice that there's a derelict lock next to the active one, and this is because they used to be up and down direction locks to help speed up transfer times. But shortly after this second lock, beside the original, was constructed, the West Coast Main Line was constructed, and it made traffic levels on the canal plummet and make it a little redundant. But it was still very sustainably sourced. The bricks used for these locks were made only 100 metres away, within this field that used to have a brick quarry. What Stoke Bruerne is most famous for is being at the southern end of the Blisworth Tunnel, which I'm walking towards here. But before it opened, a horse-drawn tram used to run along this path. And then the tramway continued up along here behind me, over the hill, and down to the other side of the tunnel. The horses would continue beyond here, over the hill, and to a marina on the other side in Blisworth. And if you walk far enough, you reach this, the southern portal to the Blisworth Tunnel, a 3-kilometre tunnel, which once digged out in the early 1800s and opened, connected the southern and northern portions of the Grand Union Canal, massively cutting down the transportation time between London and Birmingham. They also had this ironmonger's right by the tunnel portal in this building. And for ventilation in the tunnel, there were 2 tall chimney-like vents. And here's the northern one. The southern one is in a private farm. And 3 kilometres north of Stoke Bruerne, you reach the northern portal here in Blisworth. The canal not only made Stoke Bruerne a trade hub, but it also ate its high street up, which is why its main buildings and houses face onto the canal. It is also home to a small museum showcasing life in a canal boat over 200 years ago and how people legged through the Blisworth Tunnel from the days before the combustion engine. They also have a model of the amazing boat ramp thingies at Foxton near Leicester. And a dress-up box. I know I look 5, I couldn't help myself. But despite the railway eclipsing the canal, Stoke Bruerne lost their train station. Now all you can see is the remnants of a platform here. This line used to go from Northampton, break off from the West Coast Main Line Road, and then go to Towcester and eventually to Banbury. And you can still find the rail bed and lots of ruins of this old line. Such as this old bridge. So I was walking along the old rail line to road from Towcester, came across this old building which is utterly derelict, probably was a control or signalling room for the old railway. In complete disrepair, just a bunch of beer cans in it, but that's a relatively new door. Nearby is Alderton, which used to have a castle where there is now just this circular mound. Another sweet village nearby is Shuttlanger, which features this nifty little book hut, like a mini library. These slightly fairy tale looking houses are in a small hamlet called Hulcote on the edge of a private grand manor estate. The nearest town in this area, apart from Northampton, is Towcester, which features the Bury Mound. This is the only remains of a former Norman Motte and Bailey castle built here 1,000 years ago. I also found some old farming machinery just south of Stoke Bruerne. I love finding stuff like this on my walks. And that was Stoke Bruerne, town number 1, most northerly town. Next time, you shall join me in Yardley Gobbion, about 2 hours south by canal boat.